Today, we're diving into the body's master blueprints. We're doing a full explainer on animal tissues. Okay, let's start with a big question. Ever really wonder what you're made of? I mean, not just the obvious stuff like skin and bones, but what are the fundamental building blocks that make you, well, you? It turns out it all boils down to four amazing master blueprints that build everything from your brain all the way to your biceps. So, what is a tissue, anyway? It's not just some random blob of cells, that's for sure. It's more like a highly organized team. You can think of them like different crews of construction workers on a massive job site. The job site being, a body. Each crew has a very specific task, and they work together to get the whole thing built. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to break it down into those four major types. We've got the protective barrier, the connecting matrix, the movers and shakers, and finally, the communication network that runs the whole show. All right, let's jump right into our first one, the protective barrier. And this is all about understanding epithelial tissue. Seriously, think of this stuff as the body's custom-fit armor and all of its internal lining too. So, the number one job of epithelial tissue is separation. That's its whole deal. You can see how the cells are packed together super tightly, right? They form this continuous sheet, and that's what creates all the important barriers in our body. We're talking about your skin, which protects you from, everything outside, but also the lining of your organs, like the one that keeps your stomach acid from going where it shouldn't. And all of it is held in place by this thin foundation called the basement membrane. And this slide? This is the perfect example of how a tissue structure totally defines its function. On one side, you've got simple squamous tissue. See that? It's just a single thin layer of flat cells. It's delicate because it's built for speed. It's perfect for places like your lungs, where oxygen has to get through in a flash. But then look at the other side, the stratified squamous. It's literally layers upon layers of cells, stacked like a brick wall. This is not built for speed. It's built for toughness. It's for protection in places that take a beating, like your skin. And yeah, there are a bunch of other specialists in this family. You've got these tall, column-shaped cells in your intestines that are amazing at absorbing nutrients. Then there are cube-shaped ones in your kidneys that provide support. And my favorite, the ciliated cells. They've got these tiny little hairs that are constantly waving, like a crowd doing the wave, to push stuff like mucus right out of your airways. It just goes to show, every single shape has a very specific job. All right, let's move on to blueprint number 2, the connective matrix. Here, we're exploring connective tissue, and this stuff is literally the internal scaffolding, the padding, and even the transportation system for your whole body. And get this, connective tissue makes up about 30% of your total body weight. 30%. So yeah, this isn't some minor player. It's a huge part of what's physically holding you together right now. So, the secret sauce for all connective tissue is its unique structure. Remember how epithelial cells were all jammed together? Well, here, the cells are kind of scattered about, floating in this stuff called an intercellular matrix. And that matrix is what makes all the difference. It can be a liquid, like in your blood, it can be jelly-like, it can be dense, or it can be rock solid, like your bones. Just look at blood, for instance. It's a perfect example of a fluid connective tissue. That liquid matrix, the plasma, makes up over half of it. The actual cells, your red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets, they're just along for the ride, floating in that plasma as it circulates through your whole body. Connective tissue also works as the body's internal packing peanuts, if you will. You've got areolar tissue, which is this soft web-like stuff that fills in all the gaps between your organs to support and cushion them. And then there's adipose tissue. That's where we store fat. It's not just for energy either. It's an amazing insulator that helps keep you warm. And of course, we have the heavy-duty connectors, tendons and ligaments. People mix these up all the time, but the difference is simple and really important. Tendons connect muscle to bone. Think M to B. They're tough and fibrous to transmit the force from your muscles. Ligaments, on the other hand, connect bone to bone. They're more elastic, and their job is to keep your joints stable. Okay, time for blueprint number 3, the movers and shakers. And as you can probably guess, we're taking a look at muscular tissue. These are the engines, the motors of the body, responsible for every single move you make. The whole idea behind muscle is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It's made of these long cells called muscle fibers. And inside those fibers are special contractile proteins. All they do is shorten and then relax. When they shorten, When they contract, they pull. And that pull is what creates movement. It's that simple. But here's the thing, not all muscle is created equal. We've got three main types. First, there's skeletal muscle. This is the stuff you control. It's attached to your bones, it's what you use to walk or lift something. It looks striated or striped. Then you have smooth muscle, which is involuntary. You don't think about it, it just works, lining your organs. And last but not least, cardiac muscle. It's also involuntary, it's also striated, and you'll only find it in one place, your heart. And that brings us to probably the most incredible muscle in the whole body. The rhythmic contractions of the heart, they pump blood throughout the body, and this muscle works completely involuntarily. It's just this relentless, tireless engine that keeps going every second of every day without you ever giving it a single command. Okay, we've arrived at our final blueprint, and this is the one that controls everything else we've talked about, the communication network. We're diving inside nervous tissue. Think of this as the body's high-speed internet, its electrical wiring, its central command. And the star player here is the neuron. It's the basic unit. So how does it work? Well, the dendrites are like little antennas. They receive information. That info goes to the cell body, which is like the main computer that processes it. Then the message gets sent down the axon, which is like a long transmission cable. To get to the next neuron, the signal has to cross a tiny gap called a synapse. It's amazing. So the journey of any nerve impulse is basically a four-step dash. First, reception. The dendrites grab the signal. Second, processing. The cell body figures out what to do with it. Third, transmission. An electrical signal zips down the axon. And finally, relay. The signal jumps the synapse to the next neuron. And this whole thing happens in a fraction of a second. We're talking about near-instant communication. Now, a single neuron on its own is just one tiny wire. But what's a nerve? Well, a nerve is just a massive bundle of these axons, all wrapped up together. These bundles are the body's major data cables, carrying signals to and from the brain and spinal cord, connecting absolutely everything. So when you put it all together, you have these four master blueprints: the protective barrier, the connecting matrix, the movers and shakers, and the communication network. And the key takeaway here is that they don't work in isolation. They are all woven together in this incredibly complex way to create a machine, that's more integrated than anything we could ever hope to build. So here's a final thought. The next time you get a paper cut, or flex a muscle, or even just feel your own heartbeat, which of these master blueprints are at work? The answer is all of them. For that cut, you've got epithelial tissue racing to form a new barrier, connective tissue building the framework for the repair, muscle tissue controlling blood flow, and nervous tissue sending that ouch signal. It's an incredible symphony, and it's happening inside you, right now.